Barely Berry Jr. here, and I should have Juan here momentarily. Uh, it's a bit difficult trying to get things organized in YouTube comments, but I found one and put a comment there, so hopefully he should be joining soon or momentarily. Uh, we can go ahead and hear what he has to say. So I'll see if I can go to his channel now and try to help him log in if he needs help with something. Those who are here, drop a line while I try to get him on. Hey, Lisa, hopefully everything is going good with you as well. Awesome. So we'll see if Arnold, uh, he seemed very willing to come on. I was trying to tell him, confirm that we were going to meet, but apparently the YouTube chat just wasn't letting the chat go through. So I went to his video and posted the link to everything. So if you're in the awesome. Elisa says no complaints. Everything is going well for her as well. And if we can't, maybe we can see. Maybe I'll talk about a science topic of recent. If I can't get him on, but I'm so anxious to hear uh guys try to explain how Newton and Einstein and all of this stuff is wrong. Uh, I find it absolutely fascinating. And what I'll do, by the way, let me share the chat in question while I'm looking to my understanding is he is. My understanding is that he is a flirt. Um Let me see here. I can pick window capture and I can capture this. Is that working? Apparently it doesn't capture that. So I'm going to have to put it on the screen up here. But anyway, because I can keep my everything working. So I'll pick this display here, and y'all will be able to see the chat that I'm referring to. Okay, so that looks good. And there we go. So let me center it a bit, and you all could take a look and see who we're supposed to be talking to today. if I can get him on. But I mean, I gave him the link directly to this video, so you should be able to just click the link on the video and show up. But this is what he said right there. He says, by the way, I got the audiobook of Off the Edge by Kelly Will from your suggestion last week. Thank you. I went for it through it. Awesome. Glad you're enjoying it. Glad I can help. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And she seemed to be definitely a journalist, a nice journalist approach. Not emotional in it or anything like that. I did hear her sort of interview on MC Toon's channel. She talked about how one of the people she interviewed, they were she was the chick was telling her fur for dirt, and it ended up in the book. And then she called her saying, all upset, saying, she was misquoted. Uh, uh, but Kelly was saying that she has all the recordings from all the interviews, and she just went and checked the recording, and everything she said was word for word. But perhaps hearing it back or reading it back, whatever the case was, uh, illustrated the stupidity of it. I guess maybe. Yeah, that's what it was. Uh, she heard back what she was saying and realized it sounded silly and was embarrassed. Uh, yeah, it's interesting. So she goes through a sort of almost a history of how it came about. So yeah, maybe Juan will not be making it today. So he seemed anxious. I'll try one more thing to find him. You think about what he said, by the way, in the screen there. Oh yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah, yeah. If you tune, they do get scared sometimes, and don't show. But he was kind of accusing me of that though. Like when the YouTube wasn't conveying the chats properly, and he was replying with things like, "What, you having a problem with it now?" or something like that. So he seemed to be suggesting that I stopped responding to him because I was afraid he was going to destroy Einstein and stuff. So that's when I just went and found one of his videos and made a comment there. So putting him a chat asking if he's coming. Oh, no more I can really do. At least I know to have to contact him. Uh, that's a good idea. So what I'll do is start going through his points, absent of him showing up himself, and if at all possible, I would like to address it with him. But absent of that, we do what we can. the link again on another one of his videos. And if you're there, Juan, just make a comment and hop on the Discord, and we can get to chatting. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll look at this thing and we'll see what it's talking about. So he says gravity theory and its expressions are pretty fancy, but have the fundamental problem of using arbitrary constant g. Right? Arbitrary constants are placeholders uh, for missing pieces of the puzzle. If you know how it works, then nothing should be arbitrary, period. So, what I was going to ask him with that is first evidence of how it's arbitrary. So that just seems to be just something he's saying. So the gravitational constant is measured by taking two objects, and measuring the force, um, establishing the force between them, and measuring the constant. So that seems to be just something he's saying. And I'll get to the R destiny part. I remember seeing that myself, and I can't say I already know what that word means myself. But we could look at the context and see what's going on. He says the only person who addressed this and got away with arbitrary constant is R destiny, but he solved it with either mechanics or electromagnetism. So known concepts of gravity, relativity, quantum physics, and other fancy stuff goes out the window. So again, that's something he would need to support. Apparently, R destiny is um, some guy who did some stuff that apparently disproves gravity, relativity, and quantum physics. Where we use gravity to build bridges and buildings. Quantum physics is part of the photoelectric effect. Relativity is observable in gravitational lensing and the lensing around the sun during the solar eclipse. So these things just don't match with what we observe and see going on. So I want to know what. Yeah. So, you know, one thing I've noticed about these flat earthers or whatever kind of globe denier they are, just like how you saw the debate that I had with Flatzoid and Marcus the other day. Flatzoid parroted that same nonsense about second law of thermodynamics and entropy says we can't have an atmosphere. But you notice he could not give one iota of an answer or a description in any way in the form of the second law of thermodynamics. So the second law of thermodynamics is a law, just like the law of gravity. The law of gravity is a law that has equations behind it, right? So F equals G mm over R squared. And this law is a law because it's been experimentally observed to occur. And then we have the math to describe it. So the same thing with entropy. It's been a while since I took thermodynamics. I'm gonna have to take the in-depth class in spring. And I remember from taking the course that thermodynamics, you're dealing with entropy, you're dealing with heat exchange, you're dealing with uh, uh, free energy exchange, and these things relate to each other in certain ways. They make spontaneous and non-spontaneous interactions. Uh, and it's formulas and equations that go into describing these laws and the way they work, right? So just making some kind of logical argument and claiming it's the second law of thermodynamics is just nonsense. It's just nonsense. So these people have no clue. All they're doing is just like I told Flatsoid. It seems like you're just repeating something from a meme or something. Do you want to admit that's what you're doing, or do you actually have the math to back up what you're saying? And of course, what he did, he tried to do like all the flat earthers do. He tried to derail the conversation into some kind of logical argument and avoid admitting that they don't have a clue what they're talking about. They're just repeating what they heard. But this seems to be the same exact thing. So he's saying about electromagnetism and mechanics and quantum physics goes out the door and all this stuff. But all it is at this point is just words. So he's presented nothing to in any way invalidate any of these things. It's just like how Flatsoid didn't present anything to invalidate what's happening in the atmosphere. He just repeating uh the line of dirt that they had just been repeating. So this is just more lines of dirt that maybe a bit more unique than the common variety. I'd be interested to see what he has to say about it, right? Uh, he says the ether problem. Einstein clearly stated that. Or let me get my bottle of water for a moment. He says the ether problem. Einstein clearly stated that ether was detected. If ether was detected, then his theory was wrong. Well, bad news for Albert, Michelson, Morley, and Dayton Miller. Experiments didn't come out with no results. They, in fact, detected ether. He would need to show that. I debated. Uh, who was it? Allen and Toby. And I read through the Michelson paper for that quickly, admittedly, but enough to find that I didn't see them say that they discovered ether. So where is he getting that from? You need to indicate where he's getting it from. And this is the thing, Lisa. It doesn't really matter if Destiny is a real scientist or not, because historically, flat earthers or globe deniers get it wrong anyway. They get it wrong about what Einstein says. They're getting it wrong about the second law of thermodynamics. Now, thermodynamics is a standard course in the physics degree. Every physicist has to take thermodynamics and learn about all the laws of thermodynamics, and they're getting that wrong. So with thermodynamics, you're not talking about one scientist. You're talking about all physicists. You're saying they're wrong, but has no backing for it whatsoever, except just saying they're wrong. So it's not even about whether Destiny is a real scientist or not. They could be getting everything he's saying wrong anyway, and just pulling it into their delusion. So so the question just becomes, what is your evidence for showing that all of this stuff goes out the window? And what's the real stuff that's going on in the incidents I've already named, where gravity, relativity, and quantum mechanics are integral parts of that? So you have to explain all that stuff. You can't just say it goes out the door, but you're still driving on bridges that are made with Newtonian mechanics and gravity. That's not how it works, right? You have to also explain how do we really make bridges? Because apparently Newtonian physics went out the door with all the textbooks and all the engineering manuals and blueprints and documents and so forth are based upon Newtonian mechanics. You know, so so that's a real issue right there. And he says they in fact detected ether again. He has to show that. Problem was that the result didn't conform with the heliocentric model. Again, he has to show that uh, ether was in fact detected consistently. He says on the several million turns of interferometer performed by Dayton Miller, but is there a model that can fit Miller's and MMM observations? So again, he has to show that. So at this point, it still just claims that I'm not aware of any support for. So I was going to give him the opportunity to give that support. The answer is yes. The Tychosonium by Simon Shack is an updated taconic model in which Earth is not at the center of the universe, but at the center of the solar system, traveling extremely slow through the universe at 1 mile per hour. Yes, 1 mile per hour, and rotating at 0.007 RPM. This several update ended up resolving many mysteries and explaining in a very simple, elegant way observational facts that make the heliocentric model geometrically impossible. Cough, sun tilted at 60 degrees with respect to the ecliptic, cough, negative parallax. So again, this is stuff you'll have to show. Yeah, typical. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, like I said, I read through that paper. Admittedly, I read through it quickly, But I didn't see anything in the paper that said they found ether. I mean, that would be a big deal. The idea I got from it is that they didn't. They didn't find ether. They didn't notice anything that would suggest ether. But it's common that these people contradict the very sources that they reference. Right, just like when I was debating with Sid, and he pulled up his model, the article about the geocentric model, but on that page it said the sun is 93 million miles away from the Earth. That contradicts what he said about a local sun, which I think I played in that debate as well. So it's just like MC Toon said, I believe he called it one of the laws, the second law of Firth or whatever, that the references always contradict the Firth, right? The Tychonism, the Tychosium also completely destroys space-time and Einstein Fantasyland ideas that hinders the strongest possibility of the universe of electrical nature ruled solely by geometry. And with an iron fist, sorry to burst your bubble, the sun goes around the earth. Again, that's stuff he has to show. I'm just seeing a bunch of claims that I don't see any support for. So that's why I was wanting him here so he can support all the stuff he's saying. So at this point, it just seems to be just delusion. It's just a bunch of delusional beliefs that he's bought into. I mean, evidence is by the fact that he's not here now to support it. Mathematical derivations might look fancy, and if you were to wear glasses, you might also look smart. But as Tesla said, most of the work is a magnificent mathematical guard which fascinates, dazzles, and makes people blind to the underlying errors. Right? But yet he's talking through it with us on the device that's based upon math, a computer. The processes in the computer based upon math, the electricity going through it, the power plants are made mathematically, and so on and so forth. So it's just the claims that these people are making are nonsense based compared to reality. And uh, and again, his evidence is quotes. Yeah, I mean, what if Tesla said that? For one, as we see over and over again, these flat earthers and globe deniers take people's quotes out of context and make it say something different. But let's say Tesla did say that and said exactly what this guy is saying he said. That doesn't mean the universe conforms around what Tesla said. Okay, so Tesla said that. That doesn't mean that the universe now works that way. It's not like Tesla is a god and whatever Tesla says, now the universe works that way. That's not how the universe works. Unless you can show that. Unless you can show that whatever Tesla says, the universe works that way. And he could just demonstrate that Tesla has proven that's the way it is because Tesla said it. Unless he can do that, then so what? So you quoted Tesla. It still doesn't change the fact, like I said, that the very computer he's using to talk to us with is based on math. The power plant is based on math and Maxwell's equations and so on and so forth to make power to get to the computer. And we can go on down the line about how math and formulas were made in building all the structures that's allowing the conversation to take place. Exactly. So I've heard that Newton dabbled in alchemy, uh, you know, and other metaphysical topics that have since been disproven, or at least that there's no solid evidence for. So, but again, did did Tesla in any way indicate that the Earth is flat, or is it understood that Tesla's position was that the Earth is a globe? What are your thoughts on that, Lisa? And Einstein and Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these other people that like to quote. Uh, do any of these people say the Earth is flat or that the sun goes around the Earth? Did Tesla say that, or does Tesla have the position that the Earth goes around? Exactly. So he wants to pull this quote about math and use that to say, oh, we need to discard this math stuff, but then wants to disregard the fact that Tesla saw the Earth as a globe going around the sun. What about Tesla? What about that? What about when Einstein said the Earth is a globe? and that he knows the sun is going around, the Earth is going around the sun. I remember Miss MC2 did a good job of highlighting the fact that they quote that line from Einstein but leave off that part of the sentence, right? Because if they really want to hold to this quote thing, then okay, New Einstein said the Earth is moving and goes around the sun. Matter of fact, in the very debate that I did with Alan and Toby, I had him because he had the article up, and he was trying to say, "Oh, look at it. Look what the article says." And I'm like, "The article contradicts what you're saying." And I pointed in the article where they said, and he was on his screen. Alan had the article up and scrolled to the part where they talked about how the solar system is moving and the planets are moving and so forth. So Michelson Morty clearly says, contradicting what he's saying. He's referring to Michelson and Morley, but that paper says that the solar system that the Earth goes around the sun, that the solar system is doing what they say it's doing. Maybe I should pull that up. I ain't pulled the paper up in a while, so I'm not sure where it's at, but I'm sure I can find it really fast. Maybe you could look at that real fast. That part in that paper. Thanks. It was funny. So, but you could always do that though. It's like what MC Toon says, their references contradict them. If things was going more slowly, I could have looked more deeply into the references that uh uh which it brought up too. Actually challenged him to a debate just on gravity. So you can't run like he did, like he was saying. Oh, there you go. An interesting thing, Juan. I had mentioned this time, and you were saying you were ready. So when do you want to meet then? That's the thing, Lisa. What time do you want to get on, Juan? Let me know what time, and we can get together tomorrow. Okay. So we'll set a time with Juan, and we'll get on tomorrow, and we'll talk about the details. Sounds good. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time. Is that correct, Juan? Tomorrow on Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Okay, sounds good. Time, and it might be a good idea to join the Discord early, and signed up and you know you're there, that's a Discord link. If it shows, so that should get you right in. And we'll hop on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time, 7 your time. So basically, 4 p.m. Central Time is 4.5 earliest from now. So right now it's 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So now 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So tomorrow, 4.5 hours earlier from now. Is that right? So that's good. That sounds good. So I'll see you tomorrow. What is that time like for you, Lisa? You'll be able to be here tomorrow to see it on person if you were interested, or you'll catch it the recording. Sounds good. So 5 Central. Okay. So to be clear, I'll write it down. That's 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 3.5 hours earlier. So so we good with that one? 3.5 hours earlier from now, which is 5 p.m. Central Time. Sounds good. So I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll hop right on and get started then. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and hop off for now, and we have that set up for tomorrow. So be here tomorrow to get that going, and we'll be able to go through those points and see if we can get that taken. Sounds good, Lisa. So I'll we'll see Lisa at least in the chat, and I see there was some more people watching, but of course there's only a few people who chat. So thank you for chatting, Lisa. Let us know you're here. Thank you for showing up, Juan. Letting us know that you're here now, that you'll be here tomorrow at that time. And I'll set up the uh, link for the video now for 5 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, and we'll hop on and get it started. All right, y'all. Y'all be good. Sounds good, Juan.